If you often have a really hard time with making decisions, or you stop yourself from trying new things before you even start, or you really stress and worry about what other people are thinking about you a lot of the time, or if you even go over past situations in your head and live in a lot of regret and self-blame and self-criticism for being imperfect, then chances are you struggle with perfectionism. And today we're going to talk about 5 lies that perfectionism really does a good job of getting you to believe that are actually keeping you really stuck, really small, really frustrated. And we're going to challenge those lies and get you off the perfectionism struggle bus. So stick with me. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. If you're new to me and this is the first time we're connecting, my name is Kristina and I'm a registered clinical therapist, a researcher, a coach, and an online course creator. I have a master's degree in counseling psychology and I work to help men and women get through the crap that is holding them back so they can like themselves and their lives a lot more every single day. And let me tell you, perfectionism is a doozy. And some of you might be thinking, I don't struggle with perfectionism. That's not something that I deal with. Well, you might be surprised. You might be surprised that after I talk about these lies that perfectionism is trying to get you to believe, you might say, yep, I have believed those things. I've thought those things. I've definitely felt those things. And so you might actually be struggling with perfectionism and not even realizing it. And the first lie is that if you try something new and you're not amazing at it right off the bat, it means that you suck and you shouldn't even bother trying. And that is just a load of crap, because all of us, when we are starting something new, when we are trying something for the first time, when we don't have experience with it, when we don't know what we're doing, of course, we're going to suck at it. It doesn't mean that we suck as people. It means that we haven't learned the skill. We haven't gotten the experience. We haven't grown into that role. We haven't done it before. How are we supposed to know how to do it? And if you think about it, babies or toddlers, when they're first starting to walk and they suck, they fall everywhere, they fall on their face, they trip, they knock their heads, they make a mess of everything. They don't sit there and think, well, I guess that, the first time I tried walking, I wasn't amazing at it. I wasn't able to run through the playground the first time I tried, so I may as well just give up and not even bother because it's just gonna mean that I'm stupid. No, they get back up. And they keep trying, they keep persisting, they keep going, and they learn and they develop and they grow the skill until they are able to get back up and stay on their feet. So let yourself do a lip stand every once in a while. Let yourself suck, let yourself fall down, let yourself fail. It doesn't mean that you suck. It means that you are brave and bold and courageous and trying something new and letting yourself go through the process that everybody has to go through in order to be good at something. You don't have to be perfect right off the bat. I would be a little bit concerned if you were perfect at everything you tried right from the first try. I would think that there was something funny going on there. Let yourself suck. Doesn't mean that you suck. The second one is the lie that you have to make the right decision every single time you make a decision. And this one is a lie in so many ways, because that implies that in every situation, there is a right decision to be made. So we can be sitting there and thinking, what is the right decision? What should I do? I don't know what to do. And perfectionism keeps us stuck and stalled because we're going back and forth and thinking and overthinking and stressing and worrying as if there is a right decision. And sometimes it's just about whether or not you're going to get a latte or cappuccino. Often the decisions are bigger than what type of coffee you should get that day that is going to be the perfect coffee for you to get. But regardless, it's saying that there is always a right decision. And the truth is that there is rarely a right decision. And this fear, this anxiety, this worry that we're going to make the wrong decision and screw up our entire lives, that is both extremely rare and really not all that possible if we look at it in that any decision that we make, there's going to be opportunities for growth and there's going to be opportunities for struggle. That any decision that we make, that we can't kind of make these decisions where all of a sudden, if I make all the right decisions in my life, then I'll just coast on through. If you're going to put that kind of pressure on yourself and expect yourself to make the perfect decision, you're never going to make any decision at all because there is no such thing. So leaning in and trusting and letting yourself make a decision, go with it, trusting that it's really actually hard to make the wrong decision if you look at it as every decision, everything that you go through in life is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to expand, to stretch, to get clear even on what you don't want. If you make a decision and it turns out to be something that is you totally don't like and is not the right fit for you, now you know what you don't like. You've gotten clarity. So stop getting so caught up in making the right decision and just go for the vanilla latte. The next one is, in order to be okay, you have to be in control of everything. And perfectionism loves to cling to control. And it loves to tell you that when you get control over everything and everyone in your life, then you will be perfect. Once you have it all figured out, once you have full control, then you will be safe. Then you'll be okay. Then life will be great. And so we overstress and we overplan and we over control. And I say it's time to get over it because there is no such thing as full control. We cannot, there's very little in our lives that we can actually control. And yeah, we are in charge of our own lives and our own choices and our own beliefs and our own behaviors. But we can't control things that are outside of us. We can never have full control, and insisting on this full control to be okay is going to be one of the number one things that prevents us and ultimately keeps us from ever being okay, because it's just not possible. Full control is a total illusion that drives a lot of our behavior, that pushes us in a lot of ways. And we think if I can just get more control, then I'll be safe, then I'll be okay. Have you ever felt that way? In the comment section below, let me know, full confession, if you've ever felt like if I can get more control, all I need to do is get more control, have more certainty, know how it's going to all turn out, have my fingers in more pots, do more things, then I will be okay. And if you're over it, let me know in the comment section below and say, Julia, I've done that and I am over it. Because if you think about it, when we are trying to get full control over everything, we are making ourselves stressed out, uncomfortable, anxious, worried, overwhelmed with trying to control. And so in our plight, to prevent ourselves from being uncomfortable, because being in control, it's a way to try and prevent ourselves from vulnerability, to keep ourselves from vulnerability, to keep ourselves from ever being uncomfortable. That's what we do. If you think about it, look at it that way, that control is about trying to keep ourselves from being uncomfortable. So in our plight, to prevent ourselves from being uncomfortable, we are making ourselves really uncomfortable. In our plight, to prevent something that might or could or may, even a tiny little possibility that it could happen. And we're trying to over control everything to prevent something that maybe, possibly, might, could happen. We are making ourselves really uncomfortable. We're making ourselves suffer in order to prevent the possibility that something could happen that could cause us to suffer. Releasing that control, it's not possible and it's not getting us anywhere good. The next lie, and this is a big one for a lot of us, and this is sort of this covert perfectionism. If you ever struggle with procrastination, then chances are you struggle with perfectionism, because the lie that perfectionism tries to get us to believe that if you leave something to the last minute and just throw it together, it's not your fault if it sucks. And that's perfectionism's way of trying to protect our ego. Because if we leave something to the last minute, we just kind of throw it together, if it's a presentation or a project or whatever it is, or if it's a talk, and you do it and it sucks, then at least you can protect your ego by saying, well, it sucks because I just threw it together at the last minute. I just sort of, tossed it together. I just sort of put it together and didn't put that much thought into it, didn't put that much work into it, didn't prepare all that much. So it sucks because of that. Because if you do start well in advance, if you do plan and prepare and go for it and put your all into it, and then it fails, well, then there's no excuse. But the truth is that it's because we are making failure mean something. If you put your all into it, if you work really hard at something and you plan and prepare and you go for it and you fall flat on your face, the thing that we fear is that it's going to mean, we have this idea in this story that means that we are a failure. But having a failure doesn't mean that you're a failure. It means you had a failure. It means, yeah, maybe you have more to learn. Maybe there's stuff that you didn't even realize that you didn't know, or that you hadn't prepared, or that you hadn't, you weren't well versed at. That you need to go back and learn and grow and practice and work at it more. And why is that a bad thing? That doesn't mean that you are a failure. It means you had a failure. You have more to learn. You have more room to grow and more stuff to work on. So stop making failure mean something, and stop procrastinating and leaving things to the last minute and preventing yourself from that learning and growing process by making excuses and not doing it properly and not getting the job done well and not putting your heart into it, not putting the work into it. Let yourself go for it. Let yourself try. Let yourself go full force. And if you fall on your face, get back up and try again. The next lie that perfectionism tries to get us to believe is that if you can obsess and stress about past conversations or interactions, that somehow that will make you more socially competent. So this idea that, if you've ever had a conversation or been in a situation or at a social event or even just with a small group of friends, and you've gone away afterwards and you've thought to yourself, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I said that, or what if they took it that way, or what if I was misunderstood, or what if they misinterpreted, or what if they think that I'm an idiot, or what if they think that that was really dumb, or what if I accidentally offended someone? Okay, you need to stop that, because yes, if you have said something that you know was insensitive or offensive or rude or aggressive, and you know that it wasn't cool, fine, yes, great, go back, own it, take responsibility for it, apologize for it, work it out with that person. But all of this overthinking or overstressing or over-ruminating or over-obsessing about past stuff, expecting that there is a way to be socially perfect all of the time, that you have to be perfect, you always have to say the perfect thing or do the perfect thing or act the perfect way in order for people to like you, that's just a load of crap. People are going to like you for being you, and they're actually going to be okay if you're not perfect. And the truth is, we usually like people more who aren't perfect, because then it gives us permission to not be perfect. We're allowed to make mistakes. We're allowed to look silly or awkward or get uncomfortable or be kind of weird. If other people give themselves permission to do that, that is paving the way for the rest of us to be able to do it as well. So if you can think of yourself in those awkward moments, that you are actually paving the way for other people to stop stressing about ever being awkward themselves. You don't need to be perfect. And really, this obsessing about what other people are thinking about us, it is none of your business what somebody else is thinking about you, unless they make it your business in a respectful and kind way. So if someone actually does have a problem with something that you said or did, they can let you know. You don't have to spend all this time stressing and obsessing and ruminating and self-blaming and self-criticizing for something that you don't even know happened. You don't even know if it's a problem. You don't even know if that person has even thought twice about it. It's none of your business what anybody else is thinking of you unless they make it your business. And one of my favorite quotes that I've put up recently on Instagram: I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, and that's just perfect. So challenging those lies that perfectionism wants you to believe. Are you ready to challenge them? If you have other lies that perfectionism tries to get you to believe, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know which lies perfectionism has tried to convince you of that you know has been holding you back and bringing you down and getting in your way, and you are ready to say peace out to those lies and to take your life back and to let yourself show up more fully, freely, and imperfectly as yourself. Speaking of not getting so caught in our heads, I have a mindfulness exercise for you. It's a 10-minute guided mindfulness audio that is to help us detach from our thoughts or not get so wrapped up and stuck and obsessy in our heads about stuff and overthink about everything. It's a 10-minute guided mindfulness exercise that will help you start on that journey to get more out of your head and into your life imperfectly, perfectly, imperfectly as yourself. Come and join my Facebook group, goodformegroup.com, full of heart-centered go-getter men and women, incredible space, super supportive, really amazing. Like the video, share it out, subscribe to the channel. Let's stay connected. Until next time, take good care.